Welcome back to Know the Law, the podcast where we explain legal concepts in simple terms, so you can better understand how the law affects your government and your everyday life. Today we're talking about a word that often appears during political crises: impeachment. Whenever controversy hits public officials, people start asking questions. Does impeachment automatically remove someone from office? Who decides? Is it a legal process or just politics? So in this episode, we'll break down impeachment step by step. What it means, who can be impeached, how the process works, and what happens after. Let's begin. Let's start with the most common misunderstanding. Impeachment does not automatically remove someone from office. Impeachment is simply a formal accusation. Think of it like filing criminal charges. Being charged does not mean you are guilty. It only means there is enough basis to start a trial. In the same way, impeachment begins a constitutional trial process. Removal only happens later, and only if the official is convicted. This distinction matters because many people assume impeachment itself equals punishment. It doesn't. Impeachment opens the door to accountability. It does not decide guilt. Now let's talk about who can actually be impeached. This is important because impeachment does not apply to every public official. Under the 1987 Constitution, impeachment is reserved for specific high-ranking constitutional officers. These include the President, the Vice President, members of the Supreme Court, members of constitutional commissions, such as the Commission on Elections, the Commission on Audit, and the Civil Service Commission, and the Ombudsman. Why only these officials? Because these positions are protected directly by the Constitution. They are not easily removable through ordinary administrative procedures. For example, regular government employees can be removed through internal disciplinary processes. Local officials like mayors and governors can be suspended or removed through administrative cases or court rulings. Members of Congress face expulsion rules within their own chamber. But the officials I mentioned earlier hold constitutional offices that require stronger safeguards. That means they cannot simply be fired by the president. They cannot be dismissed by a regular court order. They can only be removed through impeachment. This design protects the independence of these offices. For example, Supreme Court justices must be protected from political pressure. The Ombudsman must be independent when investigating corruption. The president must not be vulnerable to easy removal by political opponents. Impeachment exists as a balanced mechanism. It protects officials from arbitrary removal, but also ensures they are not above accountability. So, impeachment is both a shield and a sword. It shields constitutional officers from unfair attacks. But it also serves as a sword when serious misconduct occurs. Understanding who can be impeached helps us understand the seriousness of the process. It is not meant for minor disputes. It is reserved for the highest offices and the most serious allegations. So what actions can lead to impeachment? The Constitution lists several grounds: culpable violation of the Constitution, treason, bribery, graft and corruption, other high crimes, and betrayal of public trust. Some grounds are straightforward, like bribery or corruption. Others, such as betrayal of public trust, are broader. Betrayal of public trust refers to serious misconduct that undermines confidence in public service. It does not always require a criminal conviction. Instead, it focuses on whether an official's behavior has damaged the integrity of their office. This gives lawmakers flexibility, but also opens impeachment to political interpretation. The impeachment process always begins in the House of Representatives. Everything starts with a formal complaint. This complaint can be filed by a private citizen, as long as it is endorsed by a member of Congress. Or it can be filed directly by a lawmaker. The complaint must be verified and supported by evidence. Once submitted, it goes through review by the House. Lawmakers examine whether the accusations fall under the constitutional grounds for impeachment. They also check whether the complaint has sufficient form and substance. If the House finds the complaint sufficient, it is referred to the appropriate committee. This committee conducts hearings, evaluates documents, and decides whether the case should move forward. After deliberation, the committee submits a recommendation to the full House. The House then votes. If at least one-third of all members vote in favor, the complaint becomes an official articles of impeachment. At this point, the process becomes formal. The House appoints prosecutors, sometimes called impeachment managers, who will represent the case in the Senate. So to summarize this stage, a complaint is filed. It is reviewed. It goes through committee hearings, the House votes, and if approved, the case is elevated to the Senate. This entire stage is meant to filter out weak or baseless accusations before a full trial begins. Once the articles of impeachment reach the Senate, the trial phase begins. Senators take a special oath, promising to deliver impartial justice according to the Constitution. During the trial, the Senate sits as an impeachment court. The House prosecutors present their case. They introduce evidence, call witnesses, and argue why the official should be convicted. The accused official, through their legal team, is also given the opportunity to defend themselves. They may challenge evidence, cross-examine witnesses, and present their own arguments. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court presides over the trial when the president is the accused. For other officials, the Senate president usually presides. After both sides finish presenting their cases, senators deliberate. Then comes the final vote. Conviction requires a 2/3 vote of all senators. This high threshold exists to ensure that removal from office is not decided by narrow political majorities. If the 2/3 vote is not reached, the official is acquitted and remains in office. If the threshold is met, the official is convicted and removed. This stage represents the heart of impeachment, where evidence meets judgment. If an official is convicted by the Senate, the immediate consequence is removal from office. In some cases, the Senate may also decide to disqualify that person from holding any future public office. But here's something many people misunderstand. Impeachment does not automatically mean jail time. Impeachment is a political and constitutional process, not a criminal trial. Its main purpose is to decide whether someone should continue serving in public office. Criminal responsibility is a separate matter. After impeachment, regular prosecutors may still file criminal cases in court. Those cases follow the usual judicial process, with judges, evidence, and verdicts. So think of it this way. Impeachment answers the question, should this person remain in power? Criminal courts answer the question, did this person commit a crime? They are related, but they are not the same. This separation exists to protect due process. It prevents impeachment from becoming a shortcut to punishment without proper judicial review. Now, let's talk about the most honest and uncomfortable part of impeachment. Impeachment is legal in structure, but political in reality. On paper, everything looks formal. There are rules, there are procedures, there are constitutional grounds. But in practice, impeachment is carried out by elected officials. That means decisions are influenced by political alliances, party loyalty, public opinion, and power dynamics. Lawmakers don't operate in a vacuum. They think about elections. They think about public reaction. They think about their political futures. So while impeachment is designed as a legal safeguard, it is also shaped by politics. This is why some impeachment complaints move forward quickly, while others stall. It's also why the same evidence can lead to different outcomes at different times. Understanding this doesn't mean impeachment is useless. It simply means we must recognize its dual nature. Impeachment lives at the intersection of law and politics, and that's exactly why it is both powerful and controversial. Despite its flaws, impeachment plays a crucial role in democracy. It sends a clear message. No one is above the Constitution, not even the highest officials. Impeachment gives citizens a peaceful, constitutional way to respond to serious abuse of power. Instead of unrest or violence, the system provides a legal mechanism for accountability. It also reminds public officials that their authority comes from the people, and that trust can be withdrawn. Impeachment is not meant to be used lightly. It exists for extraordinary situations when ordinary checks and balances are not enough. When used responsibly, it strengthens democratic institutions. When abused, it can deepen political divisions. That's why public understanding matters. The more citizens understand how impeachment works, the harder it becomes to manipulate the process for purely political ends. In the end, impeachment is not just about removing leaders. It's about preserving the integrity of public office. Let's summarize. Impeachment is not automatic removal. It is a formal accusation. Only certain officials can be impeached. There must be constitutional grounds. The House initiates the case, the Senate conducts the trial, and only a two-thirds Senate vote can remove someone from office. Impeachment exists to protect democracy by ensuring that even the highest officials can be held accountable. This has been Know the Law. If you found this episode helpful, follow the podcast. And tell me in the comments, do you think impeachment is more legal, more political? Thank you for listening.